Today's guest has climbed the Sidemen Tower, the tallest chimney in Europe, and is YouTube's biggest daredevil. Welcome, Nightscape.
For me, I'm someone who, I just want to dive into the unknown. 99.9% of the human population will never get to sit on this point. I can't believe it actually happened. It feels like it didn't happen. It feels like a dream, man. I was laying in my bed, actually, like loud bang. 8 officers charge in the house. Don't touch your phone. Take his phones. Take his laptops. All this stuff, making sure that I'm not gonna throw away evidence or delete anything. It is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. Incriminating myself in the worst way possible. That was the most anxious 7 months of my entire life. Like not knowing if you're gonna go to prison, not knowing what's gonna happen. My whole family anxious. I was anxious. My mom was anxious. My good friends passed away from falling off a building. That was a big turning point. That's the most emotional pain I've ever been through in my entire life. Am I gonna go down as the guy who just quit, or am I gonna try and make this work? YouTube, I've changed.
Well, are you excited about today's guest?
Yeah, I used to watch Nightscape when I was younger. He was like one of the original YouTubers, or maybe the second wave.
I sort of think in another life, that could have been me.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you like daring like that when you were younger?
Yeah, in my head.
It's the polar opposite of me. I couldn't even imagine doing it.
But you're scared of heights, aren't you?
Yeah.
So this is going to be an
the point
interesting
where,
one for
I
you.
can even dream it. You know, I feel like I fall in my sleep more than the average person.
You don't want to be afraid of heights. What you want to be afraid of is hitting the ground once you're falling off. That's what scares me. The height's not the problem, is it?
So you would never do anything like skydiving or climbing the tallest chimney in Europe?
No,
none of that stuff.
Unnecessary risk.
So when we go to Dubai and I kick you out the aeroplane, are you not going to pull the parachute?
Well, obviously I'm going to pull it.
Well, so you're going to do some parachuting then, aren't you?
But that is true though. When we have our trip to Dubai, will you parachute with me or not?
Definitely not. No.
You don't want to feel the feeling of just falling and flying. I don't know. Do you feel that feeling of like falling?
I think you feel a fear of plummeting towards something that's very hard.
But do you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like bus
on a roller
flows?
coaster?
Yeah.
No,
Is it like constant as you go
I think
down?
it's a different thing to that. I mean, I kept thinking last time I did a jump was I'm over a motorway. What happens if my chute doesn't open? A car's going to drive over me. And then your second thought is, who cares? I'll be well dead by the time I've hit the ground. So it's the strangest of thoughts, isn't it?
Today's guest has climbed the Sidemen Tower, the tallest chimney in Europe, and is YouTube's biggest daredevil. Welcome, Nightscape.
Welcome to the show, man.
Hello, people.
Take a seat.
What's good?
We've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man. I've been looking forward to it as well. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, guys. I
You're
appreciate
more than
it.
welcome.
So, Harry, we've had some people that are willing to go to the extremes for success, but I'd have to say you're probably the most daring of them all. Even in that introduction, like I was thinking, tallest chimney in Europe. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so yeah, where do I start, man? It was
Well, where was it?
It was in Slovenia.
Okay.
In Slovenia, in the mountains of Slovenia. And yeah, it was a weird one. It was a bit of a whim, that trip. It was literally, I was sat in my room and I hadn't made a video for a few months and I was like, do you know what? I was like yearning for an adventure. I was like, I just need to do something. And I think when you're like the type of person that I am, you kind of, it's almost like you get withdrawal symptoms from adventure and adrenaline and all that sort of thing. So I was sitting in my room and I was like, I need to do something. And I was just looking through like a lot of rooftopping videos of people that done mad climbs and stuff. And I saw a video of this couple that is literally, the title was Couple Climbs Tallest Chimney in Europe, something like that. You can find it on YouTube. 14 million views. And I looked at it.
They've got to be a mad couple to do that.
Yeah, I know.
They're like a relationship exercise.
Imagine you say to Millie, let's go climb the tallest chimney in Europe.
We can do a trustful on the top.
Yeah, man.
And if someone's got more life insurance than the other, you probably don't want to go.
Yeah, it's true. But so yeah, I saw that video and then I was like, do you know what? I wonder if it's still possible. So I tried to find, I was looking up like, you know when you do the filter, you do upload, you filter it by date.
Right,
So I searched the term like tallest chimney in Slovenia climbed, searched it by date, and I found a few that was like maybe a year someone had done it. And usually at that point, if nobody else has tried it or made a video, it's usually locked up or it's just completely off limits. So I've done loads of research, going through Instagram, like other climbers accounts that see if anyone had done it recently. And I couldn't find anyone that had done it within about a year. And I was thinking, I reckon this might be possible. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. It's a risk, basically. And I don't know if you've seen the video. I called up my friend. I was like, look, there's this chimney in Slovenia. It's the tallest one in Europe. I have no idea if it's possible. there's flights tomorrow. Let's fucking send it. Can I swear? Sure.
Yeah. We let the guests do whatever they want.
Okay, cool.
We don't.
So I was like, yeah, man, let's send it. Why not? And then literally booked the flights, went down there.
So this friend's got to be pretty crazy as well to just be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's funny. He's not really like a rooftop or anything, but he's one of my good friends called Ben McLean. Shout out, Ben. Big up you. He was down. He was like, I'm a bit shook because he's never done anything like that. But I was like, look, you're with me. I'll guide you. I'll make sure nothing bad is going to happen. My judgment is the best you can have. So just let's try it. I have no idea if we'll even be able to do it, but fuck it. Let's send it. Put the flights, literally went the next day. And then we get to Slovenia, get into a hotel. We got there. We only had like 3 days. I kind of wanted to get it done in like 3 days. And we got a train from this hotel to where the chimney was supposed to be. And it was really hard to even find this chimney. I didn't even really know where it was. We just
think
know
it'd stand out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So what was the chimney for? Like, what was the factory?
I don't specifically know what the factory is, but it's like, I think it was like toxic chemical sort of thing. So the reason that is so tall is because it's in the mountains. The clouds, I don't know if you saw in a video, but the clouds are quite low. So if the chimney's low as well, the clouds condense at quite a low altitude.
Makes me feel horrible even just thinking about it.
Yeah, Kai has a fear of heights. So even talking about this.
It goes deeper than heights though. I used to BMX back in the day.
Okay.
And I was so bad because I'm just scared of hurting myself. I've never broke a bone, never done anything like that. So I would just drop the ramp, go up the next ramp, just do nothing. So
What do you mean?
What he really means, he got to the edge of the curb and did a bunny hop off it. That was enough.
that is what I was doing though. I would just go there just to hang out with friends. You know what I mean?
Do you know what's funny? I've done parkour for 15 years. Since I was 10 years old, I trained parkour. I maybe have broken 2 bones, and it's like quite a dangerous, intense sport, and nothing crazy, nothing mad. My biggest injury ever was skiing, and that was like
great. Well, we're going to do that soon as well.
Skiing's dangerous.
First time skiing soon.
Yeah, skiing is dangerous.
I'm a bit
man.
scared for that as well, to be honest with you.
So you never skied?
Nah,
mate. I did 1 hour of skiing. Obviously, I'm a bit of a adventurous guy, so I sent it on like the blue. What's it called? Blue run, which was a bit stupid of me. And within 10 minutes, dislocated my shoulder.
Had you skied before?
No. So I did the 1 hour. I did the 1 hour training session. Went on this ramp, which was stupid. I should never have done it. Dislocated my shoulder, and it's been an injury that I've been dealing with for like 2 years.
I thought you had the best
now.
judgment ever.
Well, yeah. Good
falling apart now.
Good judgment on specific niche, but no, not in skiing at all. No.
So you do all the research to get to this chimney. You've paid the flights. You've got there.
Yeah.
Do you ever look at these sort of things and go, I ain't having it? Or do you look at it and go, I want some of that?
The latter, definitely. For me, it's like, I just love a challenge, man. Because you never know. For me, I'm someone who, I just want to dive into the unknown. And usually for me, if I have a sort of skeleton plan and an idea of what might happen or what could potentially go wrong, usually those are the times when I create the best memories and the best stories, and the maddest shit usually happens. So I went there with skeleton plan, no idea if it was possible.
So what was in this skeleton plan?
Number 1, scope it.
Yeah.
That's always the first thing. Get to location, scope it for 1, security. 1, is it even possible? Is it locked up? What's the potential like access? Basically just getting up the courage to send it, really.
So do you ever scope a job and you're there scoping, you go, let's just do it now?
Yeah, definitely. There's certain buildings I've done which have been like a week of scoping it, seeing the security, seeing like when they do the rounds and all that stuff, where the cameras are.
It's like a heist.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes
Do you use the drone when you do that?
I have done. Yeah, I've done some recon, some like Call of Duty.
It's like a proper operation.
But then again, sometimes it's literally like for the West Ham video, my biggest video that I've ever made, that was literally, we were chilling in Stratford in Westfield with my friends. No plan of doing anything. I had my camera. I was making a vlog of the day. And we were sitting there and we were just like, do you know what? We could just try it. Gave it a go. Ended up being the biggest video I've ever made. One of the maddest things I've ever done. And yeah, man. So it's kind of like a spectrum. It can either be something that we have this idea we want to do, scope it, make sure we give ourselves the best probability of making it happen. Or you just do it on a whim and just send it and hope it goes well.
Have you ever scoped a place and thought, nah, I'm not going to do that one? Or is it more the fact that you have to go back, keep scoping it, and then eventually do it?
I've definitely had times where I'm like, I've gone and in my head, I'm like, we're going to send it today. And it didn't feel right. The circumstances weren't correct. So we just left it. But But usually, it's just trial and error, really. So there's definitely times where I've gone, no, I'm not doing this.
Better to be safe than sorry.
For sure.
So you scope this chimney, you're there. What happens next?
What happened first is, so this main day that we wanted to do it, we got on the train and the train actually went directly past it. So we're on this train and we're looking at it and we're like, whoa, this thing's fucking crazy. And this random massive pole looking thing in the middle of these mountains. We must have got on the wrong train because we ended up, it just kept going and kept going. So we were supposed to stop at this specific stop that's kind of near, and then we're going to get off, go scope it. This train just kept going and kept going. And it was a Sunday in Slovenia. We had no idea where the fuck we were, in the middle of nowhere. Ended up at this train stop like maybe half an hour away. No car, no way to get back or anything. And we only had a specific amount of time on that day. It got dark and I was like, I don't want to do it in the dark. I want to get the drone shots. I want to get amazing photos and videos in the sunlight. I want to have some sort of sunlight. So we ended up going back to the hotel and we didn't do it on that specific day. And then we're at the hotel and we were like thinking, I don't know if it's going to be possible, man. Like, yeah, we potentially missed our chance. We missed the shot. I don't know if it's going to happen. And then I'm pretty sure I put a story on my Instagram. I was like, is there any kids in Slovenia who have wanted to do this chimney or know about this chimney, any information? And I was doing loads of research. I found these kids who did rooftopping in Slovenia. I messaged them. I was like, yo, we've literally come all the way to Slovenia on this day to try and do this. Would you be down to send it or even attempt it tonight?
And they'd never done it before either.
I think they tried it, but they couldn't do it because of the security and it was just too much of a risk. So they tried it before and I said, look, we're only here for this night. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. We'll do it in the nighttime at like 2 a.m. We'll stay up for sunrise. We'll get the shots, get down. Hopefully you don't get arrested. Hopefully you don't spend a night in a Slovenian jail cell. It'll be chilling.
So do you look into maybe like what's going to happen to you afterwards? Are you going to be put in jail or what the kind of sentence it carries?
I think most likely in a country like Slovenia, you'll probably spend a night in a cell. I doubt it would be that bad. In the UK, the laws aren't that strict around trespass. It's interesting.
A bit wishy-washy.
Don't they try and like do you for robbery or something like that
this
to
is the
try
thing.
and make it stick?
In the UK, basically, if you haven't broken and entered, vandalized, or stolen anything, it's not classed as a criminal offense. It's a civil offense. So if they catch you trespassing in a building, they can't actually charge you with anything unless you've done any of those three things. So that's how it is in the UK. I didn't know how it was in Slovenia. I had no idea. But the risk-reward ratio was worth giving it a go regardless. Most likely you'll spend a night or maybe two in a cell. They'll realize you're just a photographer. You didn't have any
Ill intent.
Ill intent. You just were going to get some cool photos and get a cool video.
So what's the main reward for you? Is it the money with YouTube or the clout of just climbing this thing?
Nah, man, it's the memories, bro.
The memories.
It's always the memories. For me, like, obviously there's a financial aspect in it. Obviously, it's nice to be able to support myself and support the flights and the hotels and all this stuff. But for me, my main goal has always been to be able to tell my grandkids incredible stories. And for me, memories are priceless. You can't purchase memories and you can't purchase these like mental stories that it's something you can't buy, man. So that's something for me. That's like the most valuable thing for me. Yeah, just the memories, man.
Yeah, experiences are what you're left with as you get older, that's for sure. And I look back on my life so far and I've got a mountain of experiences and I want to add more to it. And the more you do, I think the more you want as well.
It's true.
Dad keeps coming out with new stories all the time. We're like, right, we can make a video about that.
Yeah,
so we work it into all of the content.
Yeah.
But anyway, you found these guys. What happened next? I'm hooked. But first, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, Public.com. Dad, 100 years ago, when you started investing, what steps did you take to become a better investor?
Well, I used to take tips from the local meat market.
If only you had Public.com back then. Public is an investing platform that not only gives you the information and tools you need to make smarter investments, they also have a built-in optional social feature filled with analysts and notable investors to share their thoughts and help you be a better investor.
Well, that sounds good, but I'm more into index funds than individual stocks.
Oh, I thought you might say that. Well, Public offer ETFs, which is like a bundle of different stocks put together that can help you diversify your investments during economic downturns. And coming soon, Public will have art, collectibles, and more.
Wow, surely it doesn't get any better than that.
Well, you're in for some luck, old man.
Steady, son.
The best part is they've got $0 fees on standard stock trades, and you can get a free stock worth between $3,000 and $1,000 when you invest with the link in the description below.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Back to the podcast.
Okay, so we found these guys. They picked us up from the hotel. We drove like an hour to the Chimney. There was actually a road that goes down to it, but they said it's better if you sneak down the train line that goes next to it, which is the one that we were on.
Yeah.
Because it's less likely that you'll be spotted by security. So
Yeah, because who would do that?
and it's an active train line. So there's trains coming up and down every 5-10 minutes.
So were you just jumping off and then back on the train tracks?
So yeah, basically, and the thing is, I don't like messing with trains. There's a lot of urban explorers who like do train surfing and sneaking down tubes and all this stuff. I'm not really a fan because, in my opinion, trains are so unpredictable. If you get caught in a tunnel where there's no clearance, you're dead. Like there's just no, you can't predict
a nasty death at that.
Yeah, man. Imagine knowing that a train's coming.
Scraped a mile along a tunnel.
Nah. So yeah, I've never been a fan of trains. I don't like to mess with trains, but they said, look, it's the only way that we're going to do it. So I was like, okay.
Was it like an open track or is it in a tunnel?
It was an open track for about a mile, and then either side there's like a kind of like
An embankment.
dirt wall sort of thing, yeah, like an embankment. And the trains come in, and we all five of us like up against this embankment. And man, this train comes past, and it was probably about this far away. And then we got about a mile down, and there was a tunnel, and I was like, as I said, the clearance thing. There's no clearance here. How do we know that a train's not going to be coming or one coming behind us? He said, you just got to time it. As soon as one, the Slovenian guy was like, as soon as one comes, we're just going to run. Just sprint down it and get through as quick as possible. I was like, I don't want to do this. I honestly don't want to do this.
And there are no dead man passes in the tunnel.
No dead
Really?
mans, nothing. And it's like when
So
you're...
a dead man pass, is that when there's a little incove where
It's
you
an
can go?
incove, yeah. So it's for like workers and stuff. If there is a train, they know to get in there.
It's got my heart racing just thinking about this.
We need like some popcorn.
I'm ready to run.
But yeah, man. So we're at this tunnel, and me and my friend Ben, I was like, look, I said to him, these guys were like happy to do it. I guess, they were just down to do it. So I was like, look, bro, I don't mess with trains. I don't want to go down this tunnel, but there's no other option. And I sat there for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay. And I was thinking to myself, the next train that comes, I'm just going to fucking sprint. Train comes, and I just dashed. Everyone followed. We're just dashing down this train, down this tunnel. 30, 40 seconds of running, got to the end. I was like, cool. That's the hardest part. Now we just got to get into the site, see what the access is like, and get up. And we're at basically there's an exterior ladder that goes up, and
Up the chimney.
up the side of the chimney, there's an exterior ladder. And I think they blocked off the like bottom of the exterior ladder and like cut it short. So there's no way you can reach it. It's all blocked. But they had doors that had access to the inside of the actual chimney. I'm not going to say how we got access. I wasn't involved, but these kids knew a way. They got us in. We were in the chimney. There was one ladder inside the chimney, which literally, you look up, we've got our lights, but the light just fades off into pitch black. And you see this ladder just goes up and up and up and up and up. And this chimney's 360 meters tall. So you just see this ladder go off into pitch black. And then I didn't see any rest points or anything. So I was like, okay, this is a bit sketch, but it's the only ladder up. Let's go. Climbing up this ladder.
Are you using a harness or anything when you climb up?
Nah, no harness.
Why not? Does it add to the sense of
No,
excitement?
he's alpha, isn't he? He's not going to put he's not going to put harness on, is he?
I think it's a bit restrictive, and when you're dealing with trying not to get arrested or trying not to be caught, you have to be as agile as possible. You don't want any extra things to hold or anything like that. So yeah, and as I said, I've been training parkour for 15 years. I've trained my spatial awareness to a very high degree. And I trust my body, I trust my abilities, and I'll never push myself to a point where I think I'm really reckless, if that makes sense. I think there's a fine line between being risky and recklessness, and I always try and stay just below that line.
How about these kids that were with you? Like, obviously you didn't really know the extent of their abilities. Were you worried about them?
I think I'd seen on Instagram that they'd done a lot of ruse and they'd done a lot of stuff. I trusted them, I trusted their abilities. Ben, I was on him making sure that he was good the whole time. I was like, look, let's just take it slow. I'm here to support you. He was above me on the ladder. I was making sure that it was just as safe as we could possibly be.
I mean, if something happened to him and he was to fall, then it doesn't matter how good you are. He's going to be falling on you.
You're on this ladder, but it's like a cage ladder. So it's like you can almost rest back on the cage.
I think it's called a catch ladder, isn't it?
Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, so this ladder is going off into the pitch black. And we start climbing it, and man, literally, I think it was like an hour and a half of climbing this one ladder with no rest points, just being able to lean back on the gate. And I thought it's never going to end. This ladder is never end. And it got to the point where you're on this ladder and you're looking up and it's pitch black, and you look down and it goes into pitch black. So you're just in this limbo state of like some chimney, some concrete circle, pitch black above you, pitch black below. You don't know how long you're going to be on it. My arms are cramping from just climbing it. And then eventually I saw the end and we got up, and then there was a door that obviously I was like, I'm praying this leads us to the external ladder to do the rest of it. So we get to this door.
So that's not even it.
Yeah, no. This is like halfway. So yeah, we done that internal ladder, got to the top. I see this door. I was like, there's no way this fucking door doesn't open. Because if it's locked, we've just done that for no reason. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not even going to test it.
I'm sure the kids could get you through that door.
Well, yeah, potentially. I was like, I'm not even going to test it. I just boot this door, open straight away. I was like, yes, man. The adrenaline, the serotonin was like amazing. And then, yeah, we got to the external ladder and we walked out and we were already above the clouds. Incredible view. Did the rest of the external ladder. That probably took another hour or two.
Is this much more dangerous on the outside ladder?
It's probably pretty similar. You're a lot more exposed, and it feels like you're a lot more exposed. But it was better because it's rest points every like 10 meters. So they have like 10-meter ladder rest point where you can like sit down, chill. I preferred the external ladder, and I wanted to do the external ladder from the start because I knew it had rest points. This internal ladder was sketch, man. Non-stop ladder climbing is so much more tiring than you think.
So how did that feel up at the top? Because obviously you've got these massive views, but that sort of height tower tends to move quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't remember feeling it like sway or anything like that. It was just the pure like, it's hard to explain. It's almost like a high, sort of like you're high on life, man. And it's like, there's probably 99.9% of the human population will never get to sit on this point and experience this view and this perspective. I think there's something called the overview effect. Have you ever heard about that?
I haven't heard of that.
It's something that astronauts have when they go up into space and they see the world from such like a high view. I think it's described as like a cognitive shift in your perception of how big the world is. It like so quickly just feels so small. And that's kind of what you get when you do a lot of these big routes, man. You realize like, you almost realize your insignificance. It's kind of hard to explain.
It's like that in the mountains when you're skiing. Actually.
Yeah,
It's when you're right at the top of the mountain and you see all the people going down the runs. It's like loads of little ants.
Yeah, man.
And you think, wow, these mountains are massive and we're so small.
It's true, man.
Was there even enough room for you all up there? Because like in my head, I'm just imagining like a circle and you can fall in it or out.
Yeah. So it's like there's like a ledge where it's like the lower part of the top. And you can kind of, there's like a gully where you can kind of walk around it. And then there's another ladder to the tip, which is literally like a concrete circle.
And you did
which
that,
is a wall, and you can walk around it. Yeah. So I was at the top walking around. One side is the drop into it. And the other side is the
sort of
drop.
thick would you say is the thing that you're standing on?
Probably about that.
Oh, okay, it's thicker than I thought it would be.
It's not
you
like
could do it, Kai.
Yeah, you could do it, man.
Did you feel wobbly at all?
Nah, man. I was relaxed, calm, excited, just ready for the sun to rise and get some mad drone shots, get some cool photos.
Were you worried about the drone like not being able to fly that high up?
Mate, okay, I'll tell you a story about this. So I knew the most important shot I could get for this video was the drone shots from the top. Above the clouds, sun's rising, perfect conditions, like some of the best drone shots I could ever get. I'm sitting on that top wall with my legs either side with the drone. I'm like, I'm just gonna get these drone shots and then we'll leave, because you don't want to stay out there too long. You want to get down as quick as possible. So I get the drone out, I set it up, and then do you have a drone? Do you know how they work? So you got to calibrate them sometimes. The old one, I don't really know if you got to do it.
Yeah, the DJI ones.
You got to spin it around and do all that stuff. So I get it out, it says calibrate. So I try and calibrate it once, calibration failed. I was like, okay, let's do it again. Try it again, calibration failed. I was like, okay, come on, we got this. Try again, calibration failed. Failed like 7 times. And I was like, we need to go down soon. The security are going to see us. Someone's going to spot us. Like, we need to get down. I was like, man, try it a few more times. Every time calibration failed. It's like, man, if I don't get these drone shots, like this is the most important part of the video. I know it's going to be like the final part where the music drops and you see the view, like it's going to be incredible. And all the kids and my friend are saying like, we need to go. Like it's getting late. We've been off for too long. It's like, look, okay, I'm going to try it one more time. And if I don't get it, we'll just leave. And I done the slowest rotation ever. I was like perfectly trying to calibrate it. And boom, I got the success. And I was like, yes, let's go.
So one of Dad's favourite buildings is One Canada Square, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah.
You told me the story about the smoke before, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, we did a video up in Canada Square a little while ago, and it was quite funny, really, because I had to do this piece to camera as the camera was panning up, and every time it was panning out, it was going, no, hang on, it's further than that.
Yeah.
It is so high, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
And also, every time you go through the Blackwall Tunnel, you look across and there's always this vent coming off the top. And I thought, God, how cool would it be to sit up there?
Yeah, man.
You did it.
No, man.
How does that happen in today's security?
Honestly, that to this day is one of the weirdest, like, I can't believe it actually happened. It feels like it didn't happen. It feels like a dream, man. And it's so cool for me because I'm a London boy. I've always grew up in London. Most days I will see the view of One Canada Square. I'll see that light flashing. So the idea...
So it's been tempting you for ages.
Well, the thing is, it hasn't even tempted me because I didn't think it was ever possible. It's such an iconic building and it's such like a ridiculous idea to even think I could sit where that light is. I never even considered it. And then one day I was at a place called IMAX, which is a famous parkour spot in London, infamous spot. And I was training with my friends and this kid came up to me and he said, there's some people that have done it recently. I was like, no way that someone's got to that tip. There's absolutely no way. I can't believe that's possible. So yeah, the kid told me that someone had done it and I was like, damn, got to try it. If this is the only opportunity, got to try it. And then, yeah, man, if you've seen the video, went to Canary.
You would think that you wouldn't even be able to enter the building.
Yeah, man.
Let alone
is the
climb
building?
to the tip.
What is the point of it?
It's a big bank building, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like in Canary Wharf. It's basically like the financial district of London.
Because it's next to HSBC.
Yeah, it used to be I think it was the tallest building in London.
It was before the Shard. I think.
Shard overtook it.
Yeah.
At the time I did it, it was second tallest, and it's like, yeah, just a huge financial building, really.
Is Canary Wharf the section that's privately owned? Or is that different?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a rule about filming.
Yeah,
did that
man.
worry you?
Well, it's funny. So I'm now completely banned from the entire estate.
Really?
Like I have a high court injunction, which is like essentially a restraining order from the entire estate, man. So yeah, I can't go Canary Wharf ever again. In the high court injunction, they send you like a whole booklet of all this information, like all the legal aspects, the evidence against you, like all the stuff. And in it, they give you a map of the land which you're not allowed to enter. And it's literally, there's a red line. And if you step foot over that, you breach the injunction, you're in contempt of court, and they can, essentially it says, if you breach this injunction, you're in contempt of court, and we have the right to seize your assets and take you to prison.
How long does it last?
999 years.
What? I was thinking like 5 years, maybe 10.
No, man. It's so ridiculous. Like, I remember I read it. I was like, I had to double take. But yeah, it's 999 years.
So they see you practicing down the road. They must think he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
He's lining us up for another one.
It's funny because I actually went there after I got the injunction, and the head of security actually emailed me, and they'd see me on the cameras. I was only there for like a light show thing that they had. I was doing photography. I said to him, look, I had no intention of like climbing anything. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the severity of this. And yeah, he said it was okay, just don't do it again. But
it's crazy they have cameras all over the place like that.
It's crazy,
Well,
man.
they just spot you like that.
Yeah, facial recognition as well, pretty sure. But I also have an injunction from the Shard.
Where are you not banned from? Yeah.
Okay, what are my injunctions? I got the Shard, the Lloyd's building, the entire Canary Wharf estate. There's a few like weird miscellaneous ones, which are just like, I don't even remember the names. But yeah, that's the majority.
What, is this because you tried to climb all of those buildings, or did they say like, oh, because you're a known climber, then we're banning you from all of this?
So with the Lloyd's building, I had done it like 20 times. And I love that building. It was one of my favorite buildings to do. It was like the mission felt like Mission Impossible almost. So I love that one. And I made loads of content from it. So that was fair. The Shard one, I wasn't even considering climbing it really. But because they were so scared that I was going to try and give it a go, they compiled like a whole booklet of evidence from all the tweets that people would send me saying, climb the shard, all the comments people were saying, climb the shard. They got a section from a podcast where I was like, yeah, I might do it one day, who knows? And yeah, man, they managed to pass through a high court injunction.
And that's because it's private property. They can say you're banned from that square of land. Yeah. That's it.
So I think the reason that they go to such an extent is because of the laws about trespass in the UK being quite lax. It's the only option they have to make it a criminal offence. So that they basically got this one guy. He's called Stuart Wortley. He's like the antichrist of the rooftopping community, basically. Shout out Stuart. He knows me.
He knows who he is.
Love you, man. He basically is like the main lawyer that's gone to all these. I think he just recognized like a potential way to get clients. And he was like, I can go to all these buildings and I know this specific way to make rooftop a criminal offence, sell it to them. And then I guess, I don't know if that's what he's done, that's an assumption, but he's got all these buildings to take out high court injunctions against rooftoppers, and it's a good way to tackle it, to be fair. So
Didn't someone get arrested for climbing the shard? You told me about that, didn't you?
Yeah. And he was privately prosecuted by Stuart Wortley.
They pushed so hard.
Yeah, man. They made an example. Yeah, man. He got 6 months.
He just looked like an innocent guy.
Yeah, man. I mean,
just
crazy.
A normal guy, and people aren't cut out for jail.
I know. But yeah, my friend climbed it recently as well. My friend, the little nuisance, he climbed it recently, and he went to prison as well.
Oh, really?
How long did he go for?
He did. He literally got out like 2 weeks ago. I think it was like 3 months, man. He did in prison.
So what kind of got you into this like daredevil nature? Like, there's something must have happened when you were younger to be like, right, I'm going to do this.
I think, obviously, I did parkour from when I was 10 years old. And that whole lifestyle, it kind of gives you, firstly, an idea of the big world from quite a young age. Because you're out in the streets of London with your mates, like exploring around, trying cool stuff.
You're gaining world experience, aren't you?
And I think what it does as well, it kind of, makes you comfortable with being uncomfortable and taking risk. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really do consistently when they're growing up. Like for me, if I go out on a day of training, from the point that I start to the end of the day, I could face 10 different challenges where I have to take a calculated risk. 95% of the time, when I've taken a calculated risk, I've had a positive outcome. I try and live my life from the perspective of someone who had lived a mundane life, got to their deathbed, and then a magical genie had come along and said, what would you do differently if you were 20 years old again? And I live my life from the perspective of that person who's been given that second chance to live their life exactly how they want to live it without regrets.
So no one's going to die and say on their deathbed, I wish I'd done less.
Yeah, exactly.
No one.
It's true, man.
Although it might lead to an early grave, though. Yeah, some of the things that you've done.
It's true. It is true.
But if you've lived your life to the fullest, there's no
That's
regrets.
it, man. It's a weird.
Apart from that last step.
It's like, I don't know. It's a weird. It's like a balance, really. I think for me, as I said, I always try and stay below that line of recklessness. I never push my abilities out of my, like, what I think is possible.
Do you think this ability to take calculated risks has helped you in business and in life in general?
Definitely, man. I think that's one of the greatest things about training parkour, I think, is that there's so many things you can take from it. And there's so many free runners who have become successful, whether it's in like creating content. A lot of them become filmmakers and work in production. A lot of them create like successful clothing brands and that sort of stuff. So yeah, man, I think it's such the way I see it, parkour is like a discipline. So it gives you really good lessons to learn about all aspects of life that I've definitely implemented in other spaces, for sure, through my business and through my relationships and through my habits and all that sort of stuff. So
business should frighten you from time to time, that's for sure. It should excite you a lot, all the time, but from time to time you should be a little frightened. And
yeah, man.
I think that's what you probably get from what you're saying on top of these chimneys and things.
And I think it does, for someone to make that decision to not follow the status quo of getting a normal job, getting a 9 to 5, helping someone else chase their dreams, it does take risk. And it's like, so many people are so scared. And I think that's the number one thing that holds people back in this world from chasing their dreams is fear. Fear of what people might think of them, fear of the unknown, fear of failure. And it's like, if I've spent the last 15 years failing, getting back up again, succeeding, and doing that in like, or even in these micro ways, these micro challenges, it gets you used to being able to take the big risk. And I've had to do it many times in business where I've said, I've only got $1,000 left in my account. I'm going to put all of it into a video.
Yeah. So someone watching this and is maybe inspired by what you do and they want to get into parkour.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
Okay.
And would you advise it?
100%. I honestly, 100%, I've always said this. I think every single human, most people should be taught at least the basics of parkour from a young age in school, mainly for safety. I know so many people who don't know how to land from height correctly. I know so many people who can't jump properly.
Yeah, I would just snap in half.
That's the thing, man. It's like the basics of parkour are learning how to land properly and safely, understanding your body and how to move properly, and learning how to jump a decent-ish distance and do it safely. And it's like, there's so many scenarios that I know. For me, one thing that people say is like parkour is the art of running away. And it's like, it's almost like a defense that I can use. I know if I'm in a situation where, say I'm walking down a road at nighttime in London, some guys come up to me and want to mug me or something. I know if I see a wall that's this high, I'm easily going to be able to get up and over that in 2 seconds. They're not. So it's like, there's so many aspects of parkour which you can help so many people, man. Say you're stuck.
So do you think it's more important than like a martial art? Because if you then engage in a fight, you're more likely to get killed. If you could just scale a wall instead.
I think it's interesting. I know a lot of martial art coaches will say your first best defense is to not get in the fight initially. If you can avoid that fight, always, that is your best weapon, is avoiding conflict completely. I think that's what a lot of people say. I'm always someone who will try and avoid it. If it comes to the point where I have to, I have trained martial arts. I love martial arts. I think it's good to know all that sort of stuff. If you need to run away and be able to take a height drop and land safely, I think it's all good stuff that can.
Have you ever actually used that skill?
Yeah, man. Yeah, loads of times.
Who have you run away from?
Mate, I remember when I was 14, even younger than that, I think I was like 13, I got a GoPro for Christmas, my first GoPro, and I was so hyped up. And I went to London on New Year's and it was super packed. And I was walking through the city and then 2 random guys just run up to me and started like going through my pockets, basically mugging me. Took the GoPro and then they started threatening me like, I don't even remember. They were just threatening me, like banging me in the face and all this stuff. And I was like, 13-year-old kid, managed to push them off, sprinted to the nearest like fence, jumped over this fence, got away. And I was like, thank God I knew how to do that stuff. And then, yeah, there's been loads of times when I've been running from security in sites, even on like a hike or something like that. When you train parkour, you realize your spatial awareness improves so much. And it's kind of inherent to our nature to be able to do this stuff. But most people don't live a life where they have to train it. And it's like, if you look at a monkey, it's naturally ingrained in their minds. Like, I'm so jealous of monkeys, man. When I watch videos of them jumping through forests and jumping over buildings, they've never trained it, but inherently they just know so well how to do that stuff. And I think it should be a part of our nature as well. But a lot of people don't live the lifestyle where you have to use those skills, so they never develop them. I remember someone said, when did you start parkour? And I said, when did you stop? Because like when you're a kid and you're climbing in doing monkey
like the floor
bars,
is lava and all of those
and you're
games.
doing all that stuff. When you're doing monkey bars and you're climbing around, and at some point you just stop. Whereas like monkeys and that, they live in that environment constantly, so they never stop. But yeah, it's interesting.
They do have the advantage of a tail as well,
True.
don't they? Which is quite handy.
It does help. It does help, yeah.
But I hear you were mugged in Paris as well at some point, or certainly robbed.
Was robbed and abandoned in Paris? What was that about?
Yeah, man, that was a wild one.
Does this just happen to you all the time or something?
I've been robbed like 3 times now, 4 times.
I don't know parkour and I've never been robbed.
Yeah, fair.
But you don't put yourself in the same situation.
I'd just be in my car.
Yeah, that one was a big lesson, I think, in trust. I think mainly. I mean, I've told this story a few times, but I'll give you the brief version. I was in Paris with my friend on a whim again, took a coach, booked it that night, just took a coach out to Paris. And when I was there, I posted a story saying I'm in Paris, and this girl got back to me saying, do you want to do the Catacombs? And I was like, yeah.
What are the Catacombs?
So underneath Paris, there's basically a system of these caves and tunnels.
Are these just natural caves, or were they built
No,
for some
they're
purpose?
built. I think a lot of them were built during the plague because they didn't have space for the bones. So a lot of them are actually like cemetery sort of mass graves, but
They're
they
probably
all,
haunted as well.
well, who knows? Yeah, who knows, man?
Do you believe in that stuff?
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a
I suppose it's less scary when you don't think there's ghosts down there.
I don't know. I've just never been a superstitious guy, really. And because I've been in so many situations in the dark, in some weird abandoned building or something like that, I've just never really had like a paranormal experience, honestly. So yeah, I'm not really superstitious on that.
And if there were ghosts, they'd probably mug you anyway.
Yeah,
so.
it's true, man. Get robbed again. Who knows? Probably. I've got the knack for it, I guess.
So this girl messaged you.
Yeah, girl messaged me and she said, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, why not? In Paris, give it a go. Said, I got this guy who I met before, he took me, and basically he's part of this group called the Cataphiles. They're like, bit of a mad name, isn't it?
Sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
Bit of a mad one, bit Shane Dawson type energy. Yeah. They're a group called the Cataphiles, and some of them like live in these tunnels for like weeks. Like they just stay down there. I don't know.
For fun?
Mate, it's like a system of 300 kilometers of tunnels.
300
kilometers of tunnels under Paris. It's insane. A lot of what they do is mess with tourists. So that's moving on. This guy, one of their things is like they don't like people making videos of it and kind of exposing it and all that kind of thing. So this guy's taking me down there, and we're walking. You basically, the way you get in is through an abandoned train line, and then you go through a tunnel, and then someone's like knocked through a wall into the tunnels. So we're walking down this train line, and he says to us, it's me and my friend, and he goes, do you have like a map, food, water, compass, anything? And we had no idea. We're like, no, we have nothing. We just had these like head torches. He takes us down, go through this hole, walk like 30 minutes through these tunnels. They're like tunnels halfway filled with water, pitch black, some of them. Crazy.
So you're wading through water?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you're literally like up to your...
I'll be thinking about all the rats under there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, are you sure it was water?
Well, it was brown. It was brown.
Did it stink?
No, it wasn't too bad actually. I'm not gonna lie. It might have been filtered through the mud. I don't know. Yeah, we're walking through these tunnels, and then we come to like a room sort of thing where I guess people kind of chill and relax sometimes. So yeah, we're sitting there, and then me and my mate went around the corner, and he like set up like a little stove, and he was cooking beans and like just cooking some food. And I left my camera next to him. I've gone around the corner with my friend to take some pictures, and then he's shouted to us, I'm just going to go take a piss. And we're like, okay, go do your thing. We're chilling there. 5 minutes later, we come back, and then I notice all his stuff has gone and my camera's gone. I was like, no way. Like, surely it's like a prank. And then, yeah, we're calling his name for like 10 minutes. I was like, surely this is a prank. There's no way he's actually done this. Calling his name. Realized he had fucking robbed me and abandoned me in this tunnel. With no food, no map, no compass.
So how'd you get out?
So ended up waiting there for about like 7-8 hours, just not knowing what was going to happen. And then eventually some French explorer came on his own with some Bluetooth speaker hanging off him, found us. And then we run up to him and we were like, we've been abandoned. Like, he's robbed us. We don't know what to do. Can you help us? Spoke French, didn't speak a word of English, had no idea what we were talking about. Eventually he managed to he understood what we were saying. Yeah, walked us like half an hour out of this cave to some exit. Literally came out of some like manhole in the middle of Paris, like out the street. And then, yeah, just thank God that guy came, man. Big up him.
So doing stunts in foreign places, are they more worrying because of the language culture and also how the police are going to look after you or not, as the case may be?
I think the biggest worry is like the police aspect. It's like you never really know how they're going to react in certain places. A lot of countries are quite lax because it's maybe either a bit corrupt. Like certain countries, like Southeast Asia, when I did a video in Southeast Asia in Vietnam, I did how many rooftops can I do in 24 hours? And that whole time, I just carried a wad of cash just in case. You just slip in a few.
Just when he asked for the paperwork.
Yeah. It's like, in certain countries, they just are corrupt and you can use it to your advantage.
So did that work when you did that challenge?
I didn't ever have to do it. Luckily, I never got caught by police on that challenge. But there have been certain countries I've been in where, there's a security guard, give him a few, and he lets you go out the building.
To be honest, in Vietnam, the people are the nicest people in the world,
man.
aren't they? I've never met nicer.
Yeah, Vietnam is one of my favorite countries on the planet. Southeast Asia in general, I just love Southeast Asia, man.
Everyone should
Thailand,
visit, shouldn't they?
it's incredible. If you're going to go anywhere in the world, that before you die, Southeast Asia,
100%.
Vietnam, Thailand, all those countries, you need to go there.
But I was going to say, I've heard you have like terrorism charges against you or something. What's that about?
Yeah, that was a mad time in my life. So basically, my mate came to my house one day and he was like, there's a plane in a hangar. Do you want to go and explore it? I was assuming that it was like abandoned. So we drove like 3 hours up to Yorkshire, I think it was, to Robin Hood Airport. And we got there, there was a hangar. And then I remember thinking, this doesn't look abandoned. Like, seems quite active. And it was an active airport. So
Do you know that airport, Dad?
It's
Did you fly in
Nottingham,
there?
isn't it? Nottingham Airport, Robin Hood.
Nottinghamshire,
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Robin Hood Airport, yeah. Where was it? I don't remember the specific area. But yeah, Robin Hood Airport. There was a fence around it. And then we were like, let's just go. Why not? Jumped over, ran into this hangar, get into this hangar, and there's just a full jumbo jet in this hangar. Obviously, it's like in use. It's an active hangar. It's pretty obvious.
So then you turned around and went home, yeah?
No.
Okay.
We snuck in. We slowly snuck in. We walked around, got on the wings and stuff. I don't want to say too much, but you can watch the video. It's someone re-uploaded it. I ended up taking it down. Got home, edited it quick, put it out. Next day, no, it wasn't next day. It was like 3 days later. I was laying in my bed, and the way that my house is positioned, my room is quite close to the front door. It's like ground floor house. So if I look out my curtain, I can see the front door and see who's there. I'm laying in bed. It's like 8 a.m. I just hear like loud bangs, not a normal knock on the door. And instantly in my head, I was like, okay, that's
not my pizza.
That's not right. It's not my delivery, man. So I open up the curtain and I just see like 8 officers outside my house. I was like,
What wall can I jump over to get away from these?
yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking like, what can I do at this point?
I wonder why they needed 8, you know?
Yeah.
Are they that scared of
I
you?
feel like
maybe.
the UK is so overkill though. They send so many officers for the tiniest things, and then no one even cares. Like no one even
It's
respects the
interesting.
police.
This is the thing. If they would have just like 2 officers could have come, and I would have accepted. I'm not going to try and run from the law. If I'm involved in something, I'm going to try and get it sorted and then move on with my life. I'm not going to try and run away and be an outlaw. Like there's no point in doing that. They knock on the door. My mum answers the door, barge in the house, and I go on my phone to check my phone just to like see notifications as you do. And then a detective is like running my room. He's like, don't touch your phone, take his phones, take his laptops, all this stuff, making sure that like, I'm not gonna like throw away evidence or delete anything. So yeah, a whole group of police officers have just raided my house. They took every single electronic thing that was in my house, anything that held memory, my laptop, my cameras, my lenses, my phones. I had two separate phones.
That must have been a nightmare for like your career.
Yeah.
How are you going to make videos?
Well, that's the thing. They even took my mum's computer, man, which is like mad. And then, I was like, damn, they've taken my whole setup, everything I need to make videos. Luckily at the time, that was kind of really close to the time when I was like popping off initially from the West Ham video. So I did have a financial backup to buy some new equipment. Next day I went and bought a new camera, bought a new laptop, had to buy everything again.
But then you get the old stuff back and
So,
it's just like an everlasting
yeah,
cycle.
and this is the thing, it was like a 7-month investigation. And that whole 7 month, man, that was the most anxious 7 months of my entire life. Like not knowing if you're gonna go to prison, not knowing what's gonna happen.
Did they actually think it was terrorism?
This is the thing, that you've seen the video and you know that I'm like just some kid who runs around my camera trying to get to cool places. Obviously, I'm not a terrorist, but basically they were trying to charge me with endangerment of an aircraft under the Aviation Act of 1985, which is like, from what I've been told, a terrorism level charge. Like you're messing with aircraft basically, which is like the worst thing you can do.
I mean, it does make sense. Like he could have planted something on it for the next people that use
100%.
it.
Or you could have stuck something in the fuel tank.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. And even if it wasn't intentional, if I'm walking on a wing and I accidentally break a piece of equipment or something like that, and looking back, it is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. Not just the fact that I did it, but the fact that I posted it on my bloody YouTube channel, incriminating myself in the worst way possible. I was investigated for 7 months and then didn't know if I was going to go to prison. Pure uncertainty. My whole family anxious. I was anxious. My mum was anxious. And then I was out training in London, got a call from the head PC officer, and she said that they were dropping the case because of lack of evidence. And I was like, cool, great news.
Got away with
Literally,
that one.
bro, I cried. I called my mum. We were like crying on the phone.
Is that when YouTube demonetized your channel? Was that slightly after?
That the demonetization was about 2 years, maybe a year or two later. I don't.
It's a real like
remember.
turning point in your career.
Yeah, definitely.
And did you feel that was fair or not?
I was laying up at home. This was about 2 or 3 years ago now. Chilling in my room, and then my phone starts pinging off, and I was like, "That's weird." Look at my phone, and it's just emails from YouTube. And you know when you get a copyright strike or it gets demonetized, I was looking at it and I was like, "Whoa!" All these emails were just like they weren't. I don't know what it was. Was it copyright strikes? No, it was like some restriction from
Terms of
monetization.
service or something
Yeah,
like
it was
that,
like this video can't be monetized.
They're all
this video.
restricted, yeah.
All restricted.
So your income just turned off like that?
Every single video instantly, in a click, just got demonetized. I was like, no way. And it just happened to 2 of my other friends. One of my friend, Ryan Taylor, I was living with him at the time. He got it as well. And this other guy, Ali Law. Do you know Ali Law? Yeah. So it happened to him as well.
We're going to have Ali on the podcast soon.
Yeah, get him on, man. He's cool.
He's coming on in like 3 weeks. Or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Sick. He's got some good stories, man. He's a cool guy. But instantly, within a click, they just demonetized my whole channel, man.
And they didn't
Just
give
like
you
that.
a reason.
So eventually I managed to get in contact with someone from YouTube, and essentially they said that it was just for impressionable young viewers. We can't support it. Like, you can't monetize it. And like, from a business perspective, I completely understand it. Their job is to avoid any controversy before they can. They have to save themselves from not losing advertisers. They don't want to get caught up in funding this kid's illegal activities or anything like that.
Surely they could add a tick box for like, I want to advertise on this kind of video.
Well, man, this is what I've been thinking is like, there's not this issue with TV. Like there's a lot of really crazy content on TV with a lot of like rude content and
Naked attraction.
Yeah, like man, and there's specific companies who don't mind advertising on there. I think that is a very good point. They should definitely have a section where advertisers can do it, but is it profitable enough? Who knows? Like, I don't know. It would be good. It'd be great for channels like Nelk or like Steve will do it. Those kind of RIP his channel, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, like channels like that aren't able to monetize. It'd be great for those type of channels. But
it would make sense for everyone because it'd be cheaper advertising because there's less competition for the companies, and also great for the creators because it helps fund their content.
Definitely, man. I think it would be great if there was that option, but I guess they're not on that level yet, man. And YouTube definitely seems to cater to younger audiences sometimes, like child-friendly, parent-friendly, family-friendly content. They definitely prefer that sort of thing.
Talking of family friendly, when you do some of these stunts, do you actually consider your family within doing the stunt? Because obviously there's the ultimate price to pay if something goes wrong, and one, you fall off and that's you done. So you've got your family that are affected by that. You've also got the guy that's got to scrape you up off the pavement as well.
Yeah, man.
So does that come into your thought process?
When I was younger, I was just ignorant to it. I was like, I'm living the life that makes me happy, and regardless of what happens, if I die doing it, I'll be happy, and that's what it is. I was ignorant to the effects it had on my family for sure, especially my mum. Every single time I left the house, it caused a constant anxiety. And I think I was just so ignorant to it, man. I don't know, when you're a young kid, thriving off YouTube, you're popping off, like it's all crazy. You're getting all these views and all this attention and making money. And yeah, I was just, didn't really give a fuck, honestly.
So
I don't
what did your
know.
parents say at the time? Because I know certainly if Curtis had turned around to me and said, I'm going to stand on the top of Canada 1, I'd have gone, yeah, I'll come with you. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I respect it.
Yeah, full respect. No, I would have said, look, yeah, just don't go there. We can do it in other ways. But, you know, what did they say?
Well, I'd done parkour since I was 10, so my mum was used to that. But this was a whole nother level. And it caused her a lot of anxiety, man. And there was times where my family almost had interventions with me, where I'd come in and there was like my whole family sitting there, my mum almost in tears saying like, every time we leave the house, we're scared that we're gonna get a knock on the door from 2 policemen saying that you've fallen off a building and died.
It's not wrong for you to think the way you do, but it's once you've had kids,
Yeah.
that's when you think in a different way.
I think now I'm older, I look back and I realize how much of an effect it has. And I don't know, just at that time, you're just blind to it. When you're a young kid and it's all popping off, you're just blind to it. And I think the way I justify it is like, anyone can die at any point, just crossing the road. If any extreme sports are so dangerous, and it's like, I just compared it to those sort of things. But yeah, man, I don't know. Compared to the content I make now, it's so much nicer to not have put my mum through all that anxiety. Now my mum can actually watch the videos. She never watched one of my videos before.
Is that like the main reason you switched? Because of family, or was it a whole decision with other aspects to it?
It was a mixture of the demonetization and the anxiety that caused my family, realizing that. And also one of my good friends passed away from falling off a building. And that was a big turning point. I wouldn't say it wasn't the main factor that made me do it. It was just a mixture of those 3 things, and seeing the impact that it had on his friends and family, really seeing that in real life and how it affected me. The way it hurt me was like, that's the most emotional pain I've ever been through in my entire life.
Well, it's a ripple effect, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, one fatality and it just goes out knocking people sideways.
Well, that's what it is. It's like the pain just spreads constantly, and it's like the ignorance that I was given it, I guess I just never, I didn't see it. And I guess you learn from experience, right? So once I'd experienced it, I realized, okay, this is what the reality really could be. And that could have been me, man. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, my mum, I don't know how she would deal with it. So I guess at the end of the day, I just realized it's just not a sustainable business model. Like when you really look at it, my business model was sneaking in space I'm not supposed to be, avoiding security, trying not to get arrested or go to prison, and making a career out of it. And long term, it is the most unsustainable business model of all time.
It's a good way to garner attention and blow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't sustain it, because if you're getting banned from more and more places, the world just shrinks,
And
doesn't
then
it?
even if you get away with it all, you post it and then they see it and then it all comes back at you anyway.
Yeah,
so
man.
You literally cannot win.
It's like, when you look back, it's such a stupid business model. Like if I went to Dragon's Den and I pitched that as a business model, I'll get destroyed, man. It'd be ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm grateful now because it's kind of put me on a trajectory with my content that I'm so happy with. And it's forced me to innovate, and it's forced me to learn and educate and just create a different type of content that I think still has retention and people enjoy watching it, but there's no aspect of potentially going to prison, dying, and it's sustainable. So yeah, man, it's a good shift.
So tell us about what you did with the one wheel, because that's one of your new style
Yeah,
of
that's one of my
videos.
new ones, man.
And who came up with the idea that was a good idea?
Me, man. I did.
Of course. Have you not heard of his other ideas?
Yeah, I don't think it was a very good idea. What, about 10 miles into it, or was it less than that?
Mate, I got a mile in and I realized it is the worst decision I made. Like,
And how much further did you have to go after that?
It was 90, I think it was 90 miles in total.
So what was the title of this video again?
Is it possible? I think it was like
cross the country.
to cross the UK on a single wheel or something like that. You can fact check me on that.
So is this a one wheel? I haven't actually watched it.
It's
so
like a hoverboard, but it's
oh
one
right,
wheel.
okay.
It's
So not like a unicycle kind of thing.
It's essentially if you mixed a unicycle and a skateboard and made it
Right.
electric.
Oh, the one with the big wheel in the middle.
Yeah, it's a
I've seen
skateboard.
them.
It's got a wheel in the middle and it self-balances sort of thing, and you just lean and you
Yeah,
go.
I watched the scooter one, but not the one wheel.
Yeah. So that was kind of the sequel to the scooter video. The scooter video specifically, the way that happened was I was at a point with my content where I didn't want to do the rooftop and stuff anymore. I didn't know what I wanted. I was lost, essentially. I was kind of at a point where, honestly, I remember sitting there and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what to make. I don't know what's going to hit with my audience. I've got a whole audience that's subscribed to me for this rooftop and stuff. And honestly, there was points where I was like, I'm just going to quit, put it all away, start like some anonymous e-com business and just try and make some money like that. And I was going to pack it up, man. And I was sitting there, I think to myself like, man, am I going to go down as the guy who just quit and fell off, withered away into history, or am I going to try and make this work? I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and make it work. And from that moment, I spent like a month or two, researching all the biggest creators, watching all the podcasts, teaching myself how to make content around other things and hold retention, keep people watching. Because my USP before was the rooftop and stuff, keeping people's adrenaline pumping, going to places where most people don't ever get to go. That was my USP. And now I don't have that. What is the way to make content and keep that retention high and keep it pumping? So I spent a month or two researching. And then I remember I was watching a Mr. Beast video, podcast. And he said, someone asked him, what would you do if you had to start all over again? And he said, easy, I just walk across America and make a video. Bang, bang, millions of views. And I thought to myself, well, I do have to start again. What can I do? And this company had sent me this electric scooter. And I was like, I looked at it, I was like, cool, I'm gonna go France on it. Make a video. Made that video, implemented all the things that I'd learned over those 2 months, and then it banged. I think it's
pops
on,
off, it's crazy.
I think it's on like almost 4 million views now.
Did that happen as soon as you uploaded it, or was it a gradual burn?
It was a bit of a slow burn of that video. I think it was like 100K views in like 5 days. And then suddenly it just like popped, and then it popped, and then it like just, it was a weird one because it wasn't one of those ones where it like pops off really quick and then plateaus. If you look at the like line on the chart, it's like just a gradual constant. And I was like, yeah, man, this is cool. And yeah, that was the first video I'd got with a million views in like 3 years at that point or something like that.
And was that entirely monetized as well, that video?
Yeah, fully
that's
monetized.
nice.
How did you get it fixed?
When I got demonetized, it was about a year of demonetization where that whole income was just completely cut off. I made like a Patreon, I did all those things, and I just never really kept up with Patreon. Like I wasn't doing it properly, so I stopped all that, and then I was like, okay, I need to get this fixed. Oh, I think I made like an Instagram story saying like, does anyone have any contacts with YouTube? Because I never really had many contacts with YouTube.
Did you put it on like a big notes page and then you?
Yeah.
It's
I saw it on
KSI's,
KSI's Reddit when I was researching.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I did like a whole thing, and then this guy messaged me, Kieran from what are they called? MCB. They're like an agency that you kind of sign with, and they help you out with your YouTube channel. He messaged me, Ritual Media, I think it's called. And he said, look, sign with us, we'll get you remonetized. Because I was with another company as well at the time, and they just said there was nothing they could do. Like they
It's just
tried
like a multi-channel network.
Yeah,
thing.
multi-channel network, that's the word. So yeah, I was with this other network, and he literally said to me, we can't do anything, we've tried everything. There was just like no hope. So I was like, man, this is like the worst thing ever. And my contract was coming to an end with them. This guy Kieran messaged me. He said, look, I will do everything in my power to get you monetized. The deal was, if we get you monetized, sign with us. I was like, cool. So fast forward like 2-3 months, they're back and forward with YouTube. And they said to me, look, the only way they're going to remonetize you is if you take down a lot of your videos that are like really dangerous, and you upload 4 or 5 pieces of content to prove to us that you've changed your ways essentially, and that you're not going to continue doing this stuff. And I was like, damn, okay. So I made a few videos which are like, weren't anything bad, just parkour, really low down, really safe stuff. And I ended up deleting like, I don't even know how many it was. Many videos with a lot of views.
Was that hard to do?
So I made an archive channel to, like, I just wanted them to exist somewhere. I didn't want my whole legacy of like the best videos I made to just disappear instantly.
Well, it's your life's work.
Exactly, man. And it's like some of my best memories as well. And it's like, I don't want them to just not exist. So I made an archive channel. I uploaded a lot of them to there. And it was mainly just the really bad ones, like escaping police, almost death drop, roof gap, and all these things, which is fair. But there were 3 videos I said to him, categorically, I'm not deleting. And that was the West Ham video, the Slovenia video, and the One Canada Square video. I said, I will not delete them.
Well, the West Ham video, I think, has got the most amazing shot in it. When you look over the edge of that cantilever building. Now, if you look over the edge of any building, there's a wall there, isn't there? You look over the edge of that roof, there's nothing there. And you look over a bit more, there's still nothing there.
Even for me, when I was sitting on there, it gave me a bit of vertigo. And I hadn't had vertigo in like since I was like 15.
I got a vertigo watching the video. That's how good that shot is.
Yeah, man. That's the point of the video, just to put you in that perspective. So, yeah, man, it was cool.
So you deleted the videos and then they finally got you monetized.
Yeah, so I deleted the videos. Some of them had like 2-3 million views, which was painful.
The Chimney one was one that you deleted, wasn't it?
No, I didn't delete that.
It was the first video on your archive channel.
Is it on the archive channel?
Yeah, so if you didn't delete it, it's on the archive channel, yeah.
Do you know what I did? I changed the title and the thumbnail. It's still on my main channel, you know.
Smart.
It's still on my main channel.
Keep that quiet. You don't want them to know.
Don't tell anyone, all right? Shh.
Man, YouTube, I've changed. It's fine, man. Go check it. I'm sure you'll enjoy that video.
Well, to be honest, it does look like advertisers are coming to you now because you even got invited out to the Red Bull.
Yeah. I've doing a lot of work with brands now. Like, yeah, man, since I've started making this different type of content, that's more family friendly, less risky. Man, a lot of stuff with brands has been really cool. I just did do you know Locked In? Foot Asylum, Locked In. Yeah. I was on there. That was like a mad experience. And yeah, man, mate, honestly, since I made that scooter video, it's weird. On YouTube, if you bang one video with like 1-2 million views, you get so many brand deals like coming in your email. So that was really cool. And yeah, man, got a few brand deals on the horizon, a few collaborations that I'm doing. So yeah, it's cool, man.
Where do you see the future for Nightscape? And like, what's your goals and what kind of videos are you going to make? Don't have to give all your ideas away.
Okay. Number one priority is keep making memories that I'm going to be proud of. That's like my number one priority. Number 2 priority is just inspire as many people as I can to live their life exactly how they want to do it.
To the full.
100%. And number 3 is just stay on my grind, grow my fan base as much as possible, and just do some cool videos, man. Just some cool adventures. I definitely want to work on my production and my production rate with a team. So working with even producers for ideas and helping me just generally organize the preparation for the videos, working with editors to help me. Because honestly, I'm editing all my videos at the moment. It's hard for me to hand over the reins to someone.
Well, in your last video, you did actually hand over the reins a little bit because you used a bit of AI to do the intro and suggest where you're going to go. So what are your thoughts on AI?
I am like befound. Is that even a word? Befound? I don't know.
Blown away.
Yeah. Blown away.
Befuddled. Is that a word? Befuddled, yeah, that's it.
I am blown away by the level that it's getting to so quickly.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Crazy.
I think like it's weird. The progression of it is like doubling every 2 weeks. There's a new tool, a new thing. And it's like, I genuinely think that it's going to change a lot of the creative world. And it's weird because I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, I remember thinking as a creative, no robot's ever going to steal my job. Like I'm never, ever going to have a robot steal my job. And we're probably still quite far away from that. But the jump in the last year or even few months or even few weeks has been insane. Like the release of DALL-E 2, ChatGPT, The level is insane. And I think it's only going to get better. Imagine in 10 years. Like, what's it going to be like in 10 years, man? Who knows?
Well, we were playing on it the other night, weren't we? And
Playing on it.
Well, no, I was like, look at this thing, Dad.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
so Dad goes, "Oh, right, a few things."
Well, no,
into that."
actually, I was like, look, ask it anything. And we were having this argument about whether a YouTuber could get put in jail or arrested.
on the trespassing law.
Yeah. And I was like, why don't you just ask ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And you did, didn't
we
you?
went through it, and because Curtis didn't think I was right in what I was saying, and it came up all the legal stuff, and it was like, yeah, he could get sued for that.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. We won't say who, will we?
No, we won't mention that. But yeah, no, it is really scary how it's going to replace like the creators first. It looks like.
I think there's two options. There's two ways to look at it. You can either look at it like it's going to take my job, or it's going to give me an opportunity to make my job a lot easier. And as a tool, I'm trying to look at it as a tool at the moment. I've been using it for video ideas. The last week, I've been one technique I found, because I said to it, I run a adventure YouTube channel. Give me 10 video ideas. A lot of them were very generic. So what I did was I took the titles. I've got like a vault of video ideas and just the titles in my notes. I took like 10 titles. I said, here is a list of adventure video ideas, adventure video titles. Give them that list and said, give me 10 more similar ideas. And I think it kind of trains it to recognize those patterns and stuff that you're saying in those ideas. Man, it gave me 10 decent ideas.
Really?
And it's like, I think that's only going to get better. And yeah, man, I think there's so much potential for it, especially for script writing, for introductions. Did you watch the recent video?
Yeah.
Did you realize
That the whole intro was scripted AI, yeah.
Well, I didn't
that
realise
one.
until you said. That's for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so it
very
did catch you off
So you can
guard.
use it more, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think I will. Honestly, when I was using that intro, I probably would have done it slightly differently. I probably would have been a bit more abstract with the intro, kind of like had a bit of a storyline to dive in. But I had to use what it said to make that like.
Mind you, the
to make it
question
catch
I
you off
would have
guard.
put in there would have been anywhere apart from Morocco, to be honest, because I spent a lot
Really?
of time in Morocco.
Okay.
And all the things that happened to you happened to me. That's
Okay.
for sure. It's a,
You don't like Morocco, no?
I'm not a fan, no. I thought I was
Really?
going to die on the roads.
Oh
They're
damn!
absolutely
yeah,
mad.
the
aren't they?
the roads are crazy.
And you drove at night, 6.5
Yeah.
hours. And I've got to say, when I drove from Casablanca to Rabat, we were there
Yeah.
for a film job. It was Black Hawk Down we were filming at the time. I thought I was going to die on those roads. I actually text my wife to say, I'm driving. I think it's the most dangerous place in the world. I might not see you again, but I will call you when I get to the end of this drive.
Damn.
And now you won't go to Morocco again, will you?
I don't really want to, no.
It's interesting. I don't know. I kind of like the fast pacedness of it, and it's an interesting place. It's quite intense. It's definitely intense. I love the people there though. I think they're like some of the kindest people I've met, man. They're so like accommodating and they're really nice.
What caused all the water in the flat though? You woke up and the place was flooded on the first on the upper floor, wasn't it?
Basically, when we got there, it was like scheduled 2 days of like torrential rain. And it was funny because we were like, damn, the 2 days that we're there are torrential rain and the rest is like pure sunshine. So we got there, booked into this Airbnb, and then woke up the next day. And I guess these villas aren't really like used to having a lot of rain. So they were just some leaky villa, man. And it just
Because most
woke
of
up
the
and it was
buildings
flooded.
in Morocco are unfinished anyway, aren't they? They all have the rebar sticking out of the roof.
Yeah,
and
some of them.
apparently the reason for that is because they don't pay any rates until the building's finished.
Ah,
So that's
okay.
why no building ever looks finished, because
Right.
they say, oh no, there's still another layer to go on that.
Ah, fair, mad.
It looks awful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, I've been so many places where.
Hopefully we've
So
not got any
different.
Moroccan fans. out there.
Look,
There won't
big
be
up the
any more.
Moroccans. I love you. I love you.
Well, they're very nice people. It's
Yeah.
just
It's a
8
crazy
weeks,
country. I mean,
Too much couscous.
We're going to have to cut that bit out. Do you want...
Too much couscous.
that's
What's wrong
right.
with that?
I think that's all right.
There is
Dad
too
hates
much, isn't there?
couscous, don't
I
you?
do. Yeah.
You don't like couscous?
Definitely. Oh,
Do you know what's weird? My mum's friend made me couscous when I was like 10. And it was the worst thing. I remember it being one of the worst meals I've
it's
ever
like
eaten.
dry semolina, isn't it?
But I don't know, like, now I love it.
Yeah,
I liked it when I was
I
there.
quite like it
I like
as well.
couscous.
I don't
it's
get what
not
the
bad.
hate's about, yeah.
What about tagine?
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, you like that.
and
What
there's
that is.
various different ones
Yeah,
as well. isn't
yeah.
there? So it just depends what area you're in.
Fair.
Do you want to ask your famous question now?
Ooh, okay.
When is enough? Enough.
Ooh, I didn't expect that second part. When is enough enough?
I guess for heights it's been, but moving forward.
I guess when I can truly say that I'm not going to look back and have regrets. Because a lot of people say to me, you do all this rooftop and stuff, what is your biggest fear? Like, what are you scared of? And I genuinely say to them, my biggest fear is getting to my deathbed and looking back and having regrets. So I think that's when I'm content with all the things I've done and I've built a lifestyle which I'm happy with, and I feel like I've inspired enough people to live an interesting life as well and not just conform to the system, that's when I think enough will be enough.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Oh, have you got something
I've
else?
got one more.
Yeah.
I've got a question as well. How are you guys with taking risks and pushing yourself out your comfort zone? Do you often...
I think
push
I take
yourself?
more risks than Dad.
Yeah, I took
now.
I took a lot of risks when I was younger. I've skydived and
Okay.
raced cars.
Do you have like bungee jump or anything?
I won't do bungee jump because of the back.
Oh, really?
'Cause
Okay,
I don't like the whip of that. But I'd probably have a go.
Well, I have
Yeah, I
I have a
would.
gift.
Oh my life!
I'm sorry I didn't know that you were going to be on the podcast, but
Yeah.
this is for you guys.
Awesome.
Oh my life!
I wish I would have known about the back thing.
Don't mean I ain't gonna do it.
Okay.
Maybe I can do it with me. He won't do
Well,
it.
yeah, if you can't do it.
He can't climb the ladder.
Well, yeah, you got a fear of heights. So
Oh my life!
these are 2 vouchers for bungee jumping.
Yeah, I would not do that. I'm glad
I'll
that
definitely
you
do
didn't
it.
get that.
Yeah. That'd be
okay,
good, yeah,
I've got
yeah.
one as well.
Well, if he's done it, if he
Okay.
does it, I have to do it. I
Okay.
mean, when he was a kid, he was about 5 years old. We went to Splash Mountain, didn't we? In
Nice.
Yeah, it
Disney?
was, something like that. Blizzard Beach.
Blizzard Beach.
Nice.
And they've got this water slide, and it
Summit
took us
Plummet,
an
yeah.
hour to get to the top.
Really?
And I thought,
Bloody hell.
it doesn't matter. He's not going to do
There
it.
wasn't climbing for an hour.
Yeah,
That was just,
It was
with
just a long queue.
the queue.
And it was high. I thought, he ain't going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. It's fine. I'll be all right. Ooh, I don't like the look of it. He's gone, isn't he? I thought, how
straight
can
down there, yeah.
how can I walk down after
He
that?
wouldn't do it in America though, would he?
Oh, what, the rides?
No, but remember, I was recovering.
Oh, okay.
fair.
From your fault.
Well, look, if you can't do it, that's fair. But
Okay.
I've got one as well. When you're ready, let me know, and we'll go out and do some adventure, man. I want to
be
push
a
you guys out your comfort
Sure.
zone a little bit.
Yeah, anyway, thank you for coming on the
Thanks so
podcast
much.
and
Thank
thanks
you
for
very
our
much.
gift. Appreciate
Yeah, no
it.
worries.
If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to smash that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and we will see you next Friday with a brand new podcast. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from all of us.
Peace out, guys.
Later.
See you later.
See ya.